Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signore, and guys, this is a potential bombshell, and I believe the first of many that are going to start coming out, exposing Amber at a deeper level than anybody really realized. And this is a hard topic to talk about because it's not just exposing her, it's exposing the seedy underbelly and rich, wealthy Hollywood, Silicon Valley executives that enable this and have enabled and protected her for a long time. So I'm going to try my best to report all this. This is an important one. And in order to do this properly, I need sponsors to cover it. And I'm so grateful because today, you know who's back, Sheath Underwear. My God, I love these guys. Not only are they standing up for reporting that I'm putting out there, that's hard to get out there. This is genuinely scary reporting that we're doing here, but they support us no matter what. Beyond that, they're comfortable as hell. I'm telling you guys, so many people have been telling me they finally stepped up and they bought a pair of Sheath underwear, and it blows them away. The comfort, the fabric, the flexibility here, the coolness in the summer especially. This underwear is fantastic. I'm wearing it. I legitimately am. And they've supported this channel and this community so much that I'm grateful for them. And yes, it's got the dual pouch. A lot of you guys are weirded out. You're like, what the heck? But everybody's like, Andy, you were right. It helps to separate things. It helps to cool it out. And yes, there it is. You can sort of see it here. I love it. It puts the boys in one pouch and the whole... whole package in the other, and it really does help the guys out there. You're gonna appreciate this, and it's really just comfortable. It's the best underwear I've had. It's not too tight, it's not too loose, and ladies, they have women's attire as well, so please head on over to sheathunderwear.com. Make sure you use code POPCORNED, or you can use code POUCH. Popcorned is the easy one, or pouch. You can go use it over there and get 20% off your whole order. Please support our sponsors because they let us talk about difficult things we can't. And we only give you good products here that support. So go pick up your underwear, Sheath Underwear. Ladies, fellas, ladies, buy them for your fellas. I appreciate you guys supporting our sponsors here on the channel. All right, so let's get to this. This is a big one. Again, this comes from journalist Jessica Krause, aka House Inhabit. If you aren't following her over on Instagram, you should, or you can go subscribe and support her over on her Substack. Now, she's sent this out over her stories. We've reported on this a little bit, but this is the first in-depth report that she's broken down on all of it. And again, I got to be careful on some of the words and things we use here on YouTube. Again, I'm going to call them cuddle parties. And yes, I know that is a real thing that allegedly Amber and Elon were part of, but they've, imagine eyes wide shut is the best thing I can sort of say of what's going on. And they said some of the most debaucherous things were happening in these rooms, most vile, scary things possible. Imagine the most wealthy elite without any boundaries and what they want. That's alleged what's happening here at these parties. And what we've learned here via this report, which again, I haven't spoken to these sources myself, but I can say this, the sources I have spoken to, this nets out, guys. It really explains a dark past, but beyond the parties, a controlling and scary, just Amber was bringing her out, was courting women just like Maxwell. Like, it's dark. Here's a source. I'm happy to tell you everything because that girl has got everything coming to her. She deserves to suffer. Picture every man's basic fantasy. A celebrity told me over the phone, recounting what they'd seen in a series of photos taken at these events. Bunch of hot young girls all over each other in satanic styled leather outfits on stage. Amber on a throne like chair at the center. All on display is how I can read it here. Performing acts for a room full of men watching them down below. Now, I knew of this sort of watching, but I didn't know the specifics. And the throne, this was like, she was the queen, the king at these events with all these rich, powerful men bowing down and submissively, what do you need, miss? Everyone knew the girls there were for hire to entertain socially inept billionaires. Heard's connection to Musk stemmed back in 2011 when he and his wife were hosting parties at their residence in Beverly Hills. Amber became a quick favorite among the circle because she had a knack for reeling other, usually young and gay, struggling actresses to work as, they go all the way for some roses. They would make appearances or perform at these events for Musk and his tech cronies. Tasha Von Ray, Amber's ex, who Amber alleged, and not even alleged, she did. The cops verified, they witnessed it. She was an early participant wrangled by Heard. Now, this is new. Tasha was alleged to have been brought in as one of these high-end people for the wealthy men by day to basically get bought to do what they want. And then, you could buy them both. And they became the most desired lesbians in the hipster queer community. Cara Delevingne was also a celebrated score. And here she is in some weird neon limo dressed up with the ladies. This was the scene. And Amber was bringing these women in to not only have fun and be, worshipped upon, but to connect with all these rich people. I don't know if I can even show you some of these pictures. But here, they exist. Here's like a foam party happening at one of these events, allegedly. Again, wasn't there. Here's where it gets really crazy. New information that we didn't know before. Acquaintance of Tasha recalled her shock that the friend was now involved in this secret society. A fact uncovered after themed outfits were found stashed in her trunk. It ultimately ended their relationship. Another friend who witnessed the breakup said Amber held a weird spell over Tasha. Even after Tasha had moved on and was dating someone new, for whatever reason, she remained desperate to keep Amber happy despite being treated like turd by Heard in return. The notion of loyalty proved a common theme throughout the conversations with ex-friends. They confessed to being enthralled by Amber, but they were willing to overlook her toxic traits, drastic mood swings, and maniacal meltdowns to remain in her good graces. They claimed she possessed a unique magnetism that allowed her to manipulate people to the extent that she did. But much of her allure seemed to center on the plain fact of being this beguiling beauty. She was so stunning in person, it was hard to concentrate the first time I saw her. They would call her skin a baby's bottom because it was so poreless and perfect. So anyway, the parties, the cuddle parties, even as this article says, was more than just a juicy footnote. It was key to understanding Elon's stake in the trial because everyone, as they suspected, Elon's footing legal bills in the beginning, as well as paying off those donation debts, which we do know he did. So why did he do all of this? Blackmail, threads, we talked about this, was sort of the biggest credibility reason. The media didn't really want to cover that. Some of them finally did. Musk was framed as a quirky footnote in trial recaps, despite there was evidence about these frozen embryos and Elon being the father to Amber's baby, which has now gained more traction and has now been confirmed by multiple sources to her, and as many of us have suspected. But the embryos were also confirmed by Jennifer Howell, and that's where so again, I can't show you this photo, more photos of them hanging out. The rumor has always been that she has some dark S on him, and that's why he's indebted to her. A regular at these parties would tell me on the phone. It's not surprising to anyone who knows her, Amber was always filming him. She had a method. She had it down. She would get Elon really effed up so incriminating events could transpire and then film it all. The reprehensible amount of damage she has done to so many people, there's also not any doubt in my mind that she has so much stuff on Elon's friends and other men that work with him. I mean, I saw her take photos at these parties, people in power that have families and corporation charities, etc., that would get in serious trouble. She's the blackmail queen. This lines up, guys. Sorry, it does. Source romantically linked to well-known rock star said she has videos that appear to be, I got to be careful here, even more troubling people in compromising situations. It was complicated because a few people in these videos were also some of the same people involved in the trial with no specific names or circumstances divulged. It does seem like her own friends, her witnesses, it was problematic. So she had all this dirt, but then it would also incriminate them, right? I imagine Tasha or Rocky or all these other people is what I'm guessing. So all this was happening, right? DRUGs, SE, the Cuddles, it's all happening. So there were, I'm careful. I'm trying to read ahead, so I'm careful of keywords here. The question was, well, could we find any proof of Elon doing this? And yes, it's very easy to find proof of Elon doing this. There are multiple headlines you can go read yourself that show Elon being denied from a Berlin party, Elon wearing spikes at another party. There is a book that came out that detailed all this sort of and attempted to expose it all. Vice, Sun, people on Reddit. He was touring Berlin's clubs. And he was caught doing it, and then he sort of had to make some statements that was like, oh well, he didn't realize that's what it was. That's why he left. So pictures aren't allowed inside. They take phones away. It's a big deal. But in all of these, justifications, he denies it by saying, where's the quote? Elon was at the party for a couple hours and left around 1 a.m. His impression that it was a corporate party with a costume theme, not a cuddle party. The reps always sort of have a way to sort of downplay it. However, I don't know. Did Amber tell him to come to these things and, oh, it's okay? Part of me is that in reading this and as it continues, I started feeling bad for the man. So anyway, Jessica, House Inhabit, talks about how she had gotten this a lot. The parties were filling my inbox with lewd examples and other habits. Her seducing married directors, ruining friendships due to unhinged jealousy, isolating Johnny from old friends, and berating friends and family whenever she was mad and intoxicated and needed someone to take it out on. All of that checks out. All of that checks out. I've talked to people who won't go on the record who have said she was doing these things. Shortly after the end of the trial, a source referred to here as Gia reached out offering valuable insight, and particularly the intimate dynamics between Heard and Musk. The circle they ran was a snake pit that she was lucky enough to escape. Her descriptions confirmed every rumor and suspicion I'd collected throughout my coverage about dismal incentives, morale shed like old skin, money funding the fantasies, and unveiled in these quaint villas, the hill. Things she witnessed were too dark for words. With details of these parties were cited straight out of a Kubrick production, Eyes Wide Shut. Blindfolded, going to a designated spot, shuttled to a remote location where cell phones were confiscated at the door, women dangling from tree top harnesses with bags over their heads. Once you arrived, it was clear you could not just leave. You were expected to see through in its entirety. And then I can't even read you the acts that were here. It's scary, guys. So thanks to sheathunderwear.com for allowing me to speak about it as best I can. Hopefully we still get through the censors. But again, sheathunderwear.com helping me feel more confident to put out this content. So go to sheathunderwear.com and use code POPCORN for 20% and thank our sponsors. But yeah, even Sheath can't help me tell you some of the things I'm reading here, guys. And whatever she wants, appear to come out like an innocent, she gets whatever she wants and then wants to appear like an innocent, well-behaved, put-together woman who was so wronged by the world. She will hurt anyone in her path, wash her hands of the blood with a smile on her face. This is who's coming out, to finally call her out, but they're afraid to be known. So the story about Gia, really, I'll try to do this quicker for you guys. I highly encourage you to go over to House Inhabit and read this all in its entirety. You can get all the details that I can't even say. She explains a lot of stuff here that's just really scary. She apparently met Gia, again, not a real word, and made the first move because Gia wasn't into girls, and while kissing her, slipped a pill into her mouth. I remember her kissing me and nothing else. She then woke up and found herself alone in Amber's loft. And here's the evidence. Morning, lovely, had to rush out. Make yourself at home, ex Amber. That's her handwriting. We know from the Tonto pictures. She was very confused but enamored. She'd never been in women, but the intensity of this new attraction caught her off guard. Again, this is where it gets really scary because Amber knows what she's doing, and she's clearly doing this all the time. She was very seductive and smart. She figured out what you liked and told you things you wanted to hear. It was almost like being in a trance whenever I was around her. We heard this is how it happened to Johnny, too. I think this is how it happened to Elon as well. So anyway, Gia moves to LA and it's a big scene. They become the big deal, big party circuit that's happening. And she starts describing, meeting Musk. She had no idea who he was thrown off by his social awkwardness. At first, it seemed an odd fit. For Amber, it was lively and flirtatious. But, Amber was like, look, I know, all the facial tics here. Yeah, I know, but he's really smart. Things then turned to the three of them doing things, I will say, romantically. You can read between the lines there. Amber invited Gia to join them as a third upside down pineapple. That's what our code word for that. And a routine that consists of Musk watching as Amber and Gia, and then her watching Amber and Elon. The one rule was he was not allowed to touch any other women, but could, enjoy it while he watched. She laughed, recalling one occasion where Amber performed such an overreacting that she confronted her afterwards. What was that all about? Because Amber was clearly performing. And Amber goes, he doesn't know the difference anyway. Here's an image, I think, at the ECB of everybody with just, maybe this isn't ECB because that's Tasha there. I can't actually, IO's there. Anyway, they're all just topless by the pool. No wonder Amy was like sick of these out people just making a craziness out of having these insane parties at her pool when she wants to just relax. As months went on, the three grew closer. They started spending more time with Amber at Elon's residence. He owned a cluster of properties, and the vibe could almost be described as wholesome. She was privy to a different angle, a more relaxed version of Elon. This is Gia talking in a domestic setting. He was a doting parent, engaged and attentive whenever his children were around. Surprised at what an amazing father he was, sitting for hours playing video games or cards with the boys while her cooked dinner and set the table. But the partying dominated their off time. Drugs fueled the worst in both. Erratic temper in her, frantic paranoia in him. He realized she was cheating. He bugged her houses and started tracking her phones. This was confirmed by Jennifer Howell, who Amber told Whitney, and again, hearsay, but we knew this before. Elon apparently bugged this device and then found out during the filming of Aquaman while Amber was on location in Australia, that means they're with Johnny at this point too, right? So Elon knows she's with Johnny. And then she's out hanging out with Elon and having this secret affair with him. During the filming of Aquaman, while Amber was on location in Australia, Elon told Gia he watched her do it with another guy in the front yard, thanks to cameras he'd installed on the property. So as the relationship started to crumble, Musk increasingly became more neurotic and overly suspicious. Gia recalls waking up from a nap and finding his thumb in her hand, trying to unlock her phone while she slept. By this point, Gia was already pulling away from her after a series of events that made her feel in danger. She woke up without any recollection of events, like she was coming out of anesthesia. I knew if I continued the way with her, I might not wake up. I don't know what she gave to me, but I know my life was probably in danger. And then it gets really even dark. She describes this Gatsby party that Gia went to and brought a boy, like a Hollywood hot guy, and she flipped. She doesn't, because Gia is Amber's toy, and she doesn't want anyone else playing with her toys. She's described as Veruca Salt in this exchange. She didn't give two F's about me. It was just one of her toys at the bottom of a toy chest. As soon as someone else was playing with it, they want it back. That's Amber. I mean, that's her to a T, guys. Jessica says, is it about control? She's like Veruca Salt. I want it now. Now, daddy. She grabbed me by the neck and started slashing my dress with a wine opener, like a maniac, screaming she was going to do worse for effing her boyfriend. It took Amber's friends to finally pull her off and away from the bar, but as the dress marked an infinite end to whatever was lingering infatuation, she said Elon would pull her aside weeks later at another event, urging her to stay away from Amber because she feared she might actually try to K her. He seemed genuinely scared, she said. I think he knew she was crazy enough to do it, and she knew he would be the one to have to clean it up if she did. Whew! So you can go follow her Substack. Go look up House Inhabit. There it is. Support. You can also follow her stores on Instagram. Look, this is intense stuff. We're going to talk more about this in the live, but it really, beyond just the parties, the control, the fact that Amber was bringing in Tasha, was bringing in Gia, was bringing in Kara, was bringing in Elon. She was the ringleader in all of this. And I'm sure there are some people out there who don't want this out. Even if they don't like Amber and they want her exposed, they don't want to be exposed. You know what I mean? So there's a lot at stake here, and there's a lot of wealthy people please, I don't know what's going to happen. Make sure you've hit the subscribe button if you can. Even better, hit the bell for alerts, or hit that join next to it, and then smash the like button, leave a comment. And again, please support my sponsors. I may need them if they push us off. Sheathunderwear.com. They're going to come amazingly in your mail. Use code POPCORNED or POUCH. You can use either code and you'll get 20% off your order. Please support our sponsors for allowing us to go through these topics that are hard to talk about. I love you guys. Stay tuned. We'll be live later to talk about this and so much more here on Popcorn Planet.